can start out with Mr. Fatucci. Want to give us a brief overview of, I know you've had some meetings with Mr. Spencer and how you came about this?
We had meetings with, quite a few of the applicants. Just to give you, I'm just going to run down things. I'm trying to keep them as much in order as I can remember how we did this. I think we first posted the position in various outlets, as I just said to the young ladies, for no better term. I think we had some posted on the internet. I just want to look at Jamie for a second. Did we post the ad on the internet?
Yes.
Okay. The Globe.
The Globe.
Item.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not sure about Salem News.
That's okay. I think we just gave them a good example of the breadth of where we were. That's all. I just wanted to make sure. Thank you. Then from there was just, we did an overall review of the, prospective candidates that had submitted resumes. I had both the mayor and Councilor Crowley expressed an interest in participating in the process. So, we made copies of the resumes and distributed both of them. Also gave a copy of these resumes to our auditor. I made it clear when I said, I just want you to look at this in a limited capacity. Don't want to pull them away from other jobs or even our own audit that we're working on, but at least give us a feel for what you think in terms of which ones we should be looking at is really what I was focused in on. And I think pretty much what we had determined anyway was exactly how we saw it as well. As with every process, you get some people that, fairly close fit what you're looking for, and you have others that are seeing ads out there and then just throwing resumes into the wind to see, any type of opportunity that they can get. I'm sure in this economy, it's not surprising that you're going to get, some measure of that. We did narrow it down to 5 candidates, and again, a combination of the people I distributed to myself. I said, okay, let's, at least look at these 5 people. We don't need to see them all, but this seems to be the relative range of what we're looking for. That's what we did, and our auditor was pretty close, also with what we had in mind. So at that point, I kind of said thank you. Just to get his perspective, just to take all that we had and try to narrow it down to a critical few, so we could at least focus our efforts in that area. At that point, Councilor Crowley had it was a good thought. He asked if I would qualify candidates and screen them, not necessarily interview them, but at least, get some thoughts down on paper that I can share with the other people that were participating in this process. And at least that way here we could get a feel, for what we had there. And that was again distributed so everybody could at least look at it, prior to bringing them in. Then at that point we had actually brought the 5 candidates in for an interview. And from there we had actually whittled it down to 2 prospective candidates, and we had called for another round of interviews with just those 2. There was a discussion about it at that point. Got some feedback from both the mayor and Councilor Crowley. There was a thought passed around that I initially entertained myself that maybe another round of interviews, but honestly at that point what I've given you really has spanned a 5-month time period, and this thing was really getting drawn out there, and so I really thought about that and said I declined to go for another round of interviews. One thing I did with both candidates, though, we had seems like we were asking so many questions, we didn't really give them an opportunity to ask questions, so I did not want to interview them again. What I did, though, I felt we needed to, was to give them a feel for salaries, benefits. We need to give them a little information on our side because they've all been going in one direction. So I just wanted to make them all aware, or both of them aware of what we had. At that point, I just sat on this thing and went back through everything myself. And, I ultimately, made the decision. I tried to involve everybody as much as possible along the way, but, which I appreciated, but it still comes down to, it's in my lap that I've got to make a decision. So I had, my selection was, Mr. Spencer. And again, just to go back and look at different candidates, even right down to the final two, it comes down to a combination of benefits. I can look and say, well, participant A was good in these 3 areas, and participant B was good in these 3 areas, and then you look at the other areas where they had some experience. So it really comes down to a combination of the total package when you look at the end, and that's ultimately how I arrived at the decision for Mr. Spencer.
I have a couple of questions. Now, how many people applied for the job? Do you know?
I don't have them up here.
I think it was 7.
7, no, it was, it was more like about 12 or 14. So I was saying to someone else, when you get a residency requirement, that's going to restrict some what we're going to go. But on the other hand, I would be the first to advocate that I think we got some pretty talented people in this city.
I absolutely agree. Now, so it wasn't just you picking with the applicant. You actually had a couple interviews, and you had, Councilor Crowell, like you said, you
And
had
Mayor, Council Crowley, we
Mayor was involved.
in other words, at that stage of it, it was like, okay, give me who you want to interview. And that's how we determined the 5.
So you see,
Yeah, so that came from all
right, so
3
it
of us.
must be together, got together
Right,
with other people
right.
to make
At
it.
that point there, it was still a collective effort as to what we would do. And like I said, as it narrowed down, and like I said, at some point we had to make a decision. But that was really all of us at that point, seeing some of the people who really wanted to do it.
Those are my questions. Are there any committee has a question? Councilor Seer?
Thanks, Mr. Chairman. You noticed in your resume, Mr. Spencer, that you got grant management
Yes.
experience.
Yes.
I know, pretty sure, Councilor Barton is probably interested in this because he's talked about finding someone who can write grants. And I think the mayor's actually been interviewing someone to do that.
I think
And- But I mean, at least we've got someone
Can I
here.
interject on that for
Sure.
1 second, because, and this is to the mayor's credit, when we were looking through these candidates, there's a guy in there who was really good. And it's really, the person, I'm assuming it's the same person, it's really a byproduct of this process, because when we interviewed this guy, it was like, we knew he really didn't have much of a controller's job, but he certainly showed that he had a knack for the grants, and that's really where that ended up.
That's
Councilor Seer, if I could, maybe, if anybody doesn't object, maybe we can have Mr. Spencer tell us a little bit about himself and,
Sure.
his job.
Well, just to feed off of your question, and I'll go into that as we progress, but for the department, currently the interim, as my title is here, Deputy Director of Accounting Operations. However, that has since changed. I am now the interim Director of Accounting Operations. My previous boss retired December 30th, so I've been the acting director for the department since then. And all grants that are managed by the department or submitted by the Department of Mental Health are pretty much managed by my shop, personally me. So we have roughly 8 grants, totaling about $60 million. But a little bit about myself, born and raised in Lynn, and public school, Brickett, Easton Junior High School, St. Mary's Regional High School, College of St. Joseph's, Rutland, Vermont. Came back, worked as a visiting nurse for a short period, and moved to Atlanta for a little while, 5 years, and came back, luckily enough to be to Atlanta State, and that was 12 years ago. And I started in the state government in the revenue division opportunity. I said, wow, this is a job in Lynn, kids go to school in Lynn, live in Lynn. You know, this past winter has been bad sitting up on the platform at the train station, but past winters, not so good. So it's a professional job in the city that I live in. It's a challenging position. It's an ideal opportunity for personal growth, professional growth. So,
Thanks.
I just have, thank you, I just have one question for you, Mr. Spencer. Do you manage union employees in your job now? Do you think this would be helpful as a city controller, and why?
yes, I do. All state workers are the age unit 6. I have, except for management, but I have accountant 5 who works for me. I have a management analyst 3 who works for me, and I have 2, a program coordinator 1 and a program coordinator 3 who works for me. Program coordinator 3 is pretty much the commissioner's chauffeur, but mailroom operations comes under accounting and operations for the Department of Mental Health. So yes, to answer your question, I have 4, sometimes 5 people under my direction working on the mission. And I can honestly say my record is clean. I have no grievances filed against me. I've had no issues with personnel at all.
Anybody else on the committee, any questions for Mr. Spencer?
Yeah, I don't know if this would be directed at you, Mr. Spencer, or Mr. Fitzgerald. How does it work as a state employee? Obviously, he would lose any sick time that he generated with the state, I'm assuming. And how about the other benefits? How does that work?
In terms of what is years of service,
Yeah.
I'm not sure at this point. In the past, we've had employees come from the state and or other communities, and their service is brought over here. So basically, he'd be starting as a person with 12 years worth of service and any of the related benefits that go with it. But before I get premature in announcing all of that, I think it would be wise to go back and look at collective bargaining, especially in 3147, whereas the department heads are pretty much tied to that union in terms of their benefits and everything. So before I announce such a thing, I think we'd rather go back and review. I have our labor attorney and a lot of review that to make sure that that is still in effect today.
Councilor Seer, any question?
It's kind of a point of information. And someone who worked for the city as well as the county, and now I work for the state. I was able to carry all my services with me from each department, including sick time and vacation time, as well as the only thing I wasn't able to carry was seniority. So, I mean, for retirement purposes, he's gonna be able to, I know this for a fact, carry that 12 years of service over the city of Lynn. As for vacation time, it's probably gonna be negotiated.
Yeah,
The sick time, I transferred from the city to the state, and I was given credit for all of those years.
Right, and that's no question.
But I lost my sick time.
Yeah, I think in the past, if we look at people that are coming from the state and or other communities, they were actually able to not bring their sick time, but they were able to calculate their sick time ongoing from that point as if they were here for 12 years.
Right.
Okay. In other words, if you start the new fiscal year and you said, let's say if you're a new employee, you get 2 weeks, but as a 12-year employee, you get 5 weeks. What I'm saying is in the past, he doesn't bring anything with him, but he does start off with that
Accumulating the 5 weeks.
as if he
Right.
were a 12-year employee.
Right.
Now, that may still be in effect, but I don't want to be premature and announce that here. I'd rather that we go back and review the collective bargaining that we're tied to in terms of our benefits before we set it.
Yeah, that's just for, point of information.
with work, and he'll be a good fit for the position. And his ties into the community are just icing on the cake, so to speak. And I know him. I've reviewed all of the reading material associated with it, and I'm pleased that he's accepted the position.
If I could just ask you, Sarah, I just had a couple of questions, Mr. Spencer. I know, actually, just one question. I know last year during the hearings, and it's just stuck in my brain, Mr. Petrucci, you were kind of like, I know the mayor does the budget in the mayor's office, and you guys work long hours, and I know a lot of times you're on your own, you're trying to get it done, and, there wasn't a good relationship there, and the turbulence, but I just wanted Mr. Spencer to know that I think you guys put a lot of hours in, like after work and on the weekends, and I don't know if you guys discussed that during budget time, that a lot of times you might have to put some extra time in. I just, part of your job, if you.
Well, at the state, we have 3 cycles. We have House 1, House 2, and then the GAA. So, I'm all aware of those hours. And
Yeah, I just know.
A&F is,
Yeah.
I'd have to say, the questions that we are asked by A&F today are quite puzzling sometimes. So we're put to the carpet every day on expenditures, budget proposals, and numbers that we put out today. So the long hours.
Yeah, I just wanted to make it aware. I know the hours that.
Yeah, well, and a lot of this you can do in a smart way, just prepping the budget. And we've got, good people in controls right now.
No, I know.
They're gonna work along and they know that, but, and the game plan right now is I'm just prepping these things, so about 2/3 hopefully will be done, and trying to do the calculation file this with requirements. And again, it's something that if you just work a little at a time, it should work, and I can't stress enough though, how it goes, what's school and what's easier is through cooperation, which, that we're, looking forward to most, and currently getting that level of cooperation out of control as well, just for the record.
Thank you. Yeah, I'd just like to say, I've known the Spencer family for a long time. I've known Stephen. He's a wonderful, he's a wonderful person. He's a winner. I think it's wonderful that we have so much talent here and brain power right here in Lynn. I think it's great that we hired them. I think that, that people, they live here, your children, your family's here. I think they come to, and work here. You're a go-getter, and I know.
We're gonna put you to work. I mean, you've got some, there's some training with the state. All of us as department heads, I think you'll find that all of us have really gone off of the training and certification.
I think what he's been doing towards the state kind of feeds into what he's been doing.
But he's still gonna get his certification as the town accountant / auditor, similar that Peter Karen did for assessor, and his treasurer,
That's
why he's a
all
purchasing
It's
agent.
all part of his job.
It's all part of what has to get done, and there's also our auditor has a class that he teaches. We'll try to get him into one of those classes as well, and basically it gets him in step with what they look for. I can understand why they do this. It makes it easier for them when they go to a client if they've got everybody on the same mindset, on the same page. So there's some training that has to come in, yes.
It's great. Councilor, did you respond? Councilor Lozey?
I was just going to say, do you need a motion to, that we?
Yeah, we're gonna need a
go
motion to
council
send it
for?
to the council for next Tuesday.
Okay.
Councilor Seer, do you have something before the motion you'd have to say?
Okay, so moved. Motion to
Councilor. Yeah, I'll make a motion to recommend Mr. Spencer for the job of
Confirmation.
Second by Councilor Barton. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any other business?